Nival has made a lot of cool and exciting games over the years, including Heroes of Might and Magic 5, Silent Storm, Aetherlords, and Prime World. And when it finally came time to create another game in our celebrated Blitzkrieg series, we opened up a whole new office dedicated to the project. The Blitzkrieg team is made up of game industry veterans who have worked on a number of well-known projects. And naturally, a lot of the team has been around since the very first Blitzkrieg game. But even for such an experienced team, creating Blitzkrieg 3 has been a challenge. We've been working on it exclusively for about 3 years now, and the hard work has paid off. Blitzkrieg has always been a favorite series from Nival, one that we feel very close to. So we really wanted to modernize the series and bring it up to today's technology. But we didn't just want to create another war game, we wanted to breathe new life into the strategy genre. So, what's new in Blitzkrieg 3? In a word, asynchronous multiplayer. Asynchronous strategy is a new and unique spin on multiplayer. You attack other players and win their resources. Then you can return to base and upgrade your units, and then take the fight to the enemy again. In previous games in the Blitzkrieg series, the best part of the game was attacking enemy fortifications. That's why we developed asynchronous multiplayer. One player sets up his defenses and advance, while the other player enters the match and attacks those defenses. In the early days of Blitzkrieg 3, we did a lot of experiments with gameplay. Early builds had a lot of micromanagement, and game sessions lasted a long time, which was perfect for the single-player historical campaigns. This fit perfectly with the spirit of the original Blitzkrieg games, but it wasn't really a good fit for multiplayer. Most players don't want to spend several hours in a single multiplayer battle. Blitzkrieg 3 multiplayer is faster paced, so you can play several battles in the same amount of time. We worked hard to make the gameplay feel fresh and new compared with previous games in the genre. Originally, we envisioned Blitzkrieg 3 would begin in 1945, right at the end of World War II. The plan was to visit each of the major conflicts since then, and in fact, we're mostly done with the Vietnam segment. We've already made a lot of content, including game mechanics intended specifically for the Vietnam campaign. However, as the project became more focused, we kept going back to our roots, and in the end, we decided to focus again on World War II. But you can look forward to seeing Vietnam in a future expansion. After a lot of experiments and changes of setting, the idea of asynchronous multiplayer was born. A lot of ideas went into this. If you look at the history of RTS games, there really hasn't been much recent innovation in synchronous multiplayer. The main problem is that it's very hard to make synchronous PvP sessions interesting for an extended period of time. Lots of RTS projects have failed to crack that nut, precisely because they focused on synchronous multiplayer. So we decided that asynchronous multiplayer would be a breath of fresh air in the strategy game genre. It enables players to develop their base between sessions, not just during synchronous game sessions. And it's pretty realistic, too. After all, most of the commander's defensive work happens in the preparation, before the battle, the placement of troops, and the construction of fortifications. And from a gameplay point of view, executing the attack is where the real excitement is. Asynchronous multiplayer is a great step forward, but we haven't forgotten the fans of the original Blitzkrieg. There's a classic single-player mode especially for them. In fact, the single-player campaign was always one of our most important priorities. The main thing everybody remembers about the first two Blitzkrieg games is their campaigns. Nival has held on to that to make the game as fun as possible and capture our fans' interest with classic traditional single-player campaigns. We're finalizing those campaigns now and plan to have 3 complete campaigns when the game is launched. Another tradition we're continuing from the original Blitzkrieg games is the attention to detail. We've spent a lot of time on tons of great little moments and interesting scenes. Blitzkrieg has always been famous for its level of detail, and this principle is a major part of Blitzkrieg 3. An important factor in the game's success will be its accessibility. It'll launch on PC, but over time, Blitzkrieg 3 will come out on other major platforms, including Mac and Linux. Right now, Blitzkrieg 3 is in the home stretch. We're putting the finishing touches on game balance, finishing the single-player campaign maps, and setting up the online services, getting ready for the big launch. Interest in World War II is on the rise. There aren't many cutting-edge RTS games out there, so it's a great time to launch a serious RTS game about World War II.